Hey guys, I'm Layla. Welcome to raidlore Stories. Today's lore story is going to be for Nekmo Thaar. What a really, really cool champ added to this game. I mean, I don't know what they were doing with his... I don't know what these are. Wing, arm kind of things. But anyway, let's check out his story. Nekmo Thaar comes from a spawn lineage of lizardmen healers, all wise and skilled. Once a practitioner of the ways of restoration in a quiet settlement on the edge of the Sahara Lakes, he might have remained there in peaceful obscurity, tending the elderly and the infirm and teaching his ways to the next generation, were it not for the coming of the orc warlord Dorjum. The orc intended to carve out his own fiefdom in Peltas and decided to claim the village where Thaar lived. Dorjum and his warband descended on the settlement, killing those who resist and demanding tithes and fealty from those they spared. Thaar was not a warlike being, and he initially equestried. He cared deeply about his fellow villagers and his community, however, and as the months passed, he realized that their subjugation was intolerable. Dorjum took too much, and those who survived his takeover were on the brink of starvation. But what could be done? The village was not strong enough to fight Dorjum and his brutes, at least not on an even footing. Thaar decided to change that. After much thought, he realized that if he knew how to heal, he also knew how to destroy. A great many of the insects, fish, and plants from the Sahara Lakes that he employed in his medicines also, if prepared or treated differently, or used in excess, possessed toxic or poison properties. The physiology of Thaar's lineage meant that he was able to extract medicinal properties from certain foods in his gullet and turn them into solving liquids that he could excrete via the sharp spines that jutted out of his back. Thaar realized also that if he ingested more unwholesome meals, from razor leaves and pond slitherers to rockberries, itch ants, molder sprouts, and more, he could induce the generation of toxins instead. It was not long before Thaar had developed a wide array of poisons. He spoke to a number of the villagers, describing how he hoped to use these new weapons against the occupiers, and asked whether they would aid him, and they agreed. Firstly, Thaar poisoned Dorjum's food. Due to Thaar's inexperience with poisons, his dosage was not enough to kill the orc, but ironically, it ensured that the warlord was brought before Thaar in his capacity as the local healer. Dorjum's underlings failed to realize that the tinctures the lizardman was given their leader was speeding along his demise. The food and water given to the orc warriors was likewise laced with the contaminants by the villagers, on Thaar's instructions. By the time the lizardman's oppressors realized what was happening, it was too late. The triumph of Thaar and his fellows was tragically short-lived. While Dorjum lay dead, his daughter had been elsewhere, bringing other parts of Sahara Lakes into her father's dominion. When she heard of Dorjum's death, she swiftly gathered her own warriors. They descended upon the village, slaughtering all they found, intending to leave no survivors. Thaar narrowly escaped, convinced by the fellow villagers there was nothing that could be done to save their homes. Convinced that he had brought devastation down upon his own people, Thaar wandered the Sahara Lakes before eventually crossing the Valdemar Strait and coming to the free city of Arnak. The city's sewers were infested by impoverished lizardmen, and amid the lawlessness, Thaar found a new purpose. He had tried healing, being a force for good, but it had all been wrought for death and destruction. The sights he saw beneath Arnak did nothing to rebuild his belief in any inherent goodness to the world. Why suffer for doing righteous deeds when none around him in his new home seemed worthy of it? So it was that Thaar embraced the role of a master of toxins and venoms, a death dealer who sold out his prodigious talents to the highest bidder. There was no shortage of such individuals in Arnak, where only the strongest or most cunning survived. Arnak's murderous lizardmen gangs would do much to win the services of Poison Throat, the infamous master of venoms who darts through the free city crumbling sewers in search of fresh ingredients. The cult of the Skull Swarms in particular court his abilities, though Thaar has never sworn himself to them, nor to the Skinners or any other gang who fight the Arnak's deadly underworld. Thaar's refusal to take sides is one of his selling points, but when a small cut festers or fresh food brings on sickness anywhere, it is he who is blamed, a fact that only enhances his reputation. Few know Thaar's origins, of his days as a kind and humble healer, but that matters not, for that Thaar is now long gone. Wow, that is a pretty good story, guys. I gotta say, and the story does explain what was up with these appendages here, like I was saying. I do like what they did with him, guys. Drop a comment down below what you think for the lore story for Nekmo Thaar, and thanks for watching.